This is Haki FM, Oasis of Justice.
Take it away, Miss.
Thank you so much, Mabea. This is Ruth Rotich, Advocate of the High Court of Kenya, Managing Partner, Ruth Rotich and Company Advocates. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here this morning.
What informed your choice to pursue law? Okay, toka Form 4 Kenda campus.
Actually, I had a passion. Ever since I was in primary school, the justice for those who could not access justice, I felt that I had that calling to go and study law and also represent those who cannot represent themselves.
So now, why did the judiciary, together with the United Nations, decide to, have a service month for children? Why not men? Why not women? Or some section of the society? Why children?
As you know, children are the future leaders and most vulnerable whenever it comes to every aspect of the society. And when we look at children cases, they are very sensitive. No matter if it's a civil case, if it's a criminal case, it has to be handled with a lot of care, because when a judge or a magistrate makes orders in court pertaining that child, he or she will be affected for the rest of their lives.
And who is a child?
A child is an individual who has not attained 18 years of age. That is the age of majority. Yes.
That needs to be stressed because some people wamepitisha hiyo age and they still think nikipatikana kwa corridors of justice either may directly cause a problem, so nimefikishwa pale kwenye courts of law, I can be treated like a child. I think they need to know that. So what comes into mind is if I come into contact or conflict with the law and nilikuwa below 18, let's say I was 17, but by the time tuseme hata sentencing inafanywa niko 20, will I be, the sentencing itakuwa ina take into account me as the 17-year-old or me as the 20-year-old?
Yes. Because you were indicted when you were 17 years, it will be prudent for the court to ensure that when they are sentencing you, they will sentence you when you are 17 years old. Even if you are 20 years old but you committed the offense when you are 17, the punishment should not be for an adult, because now you are 20 years. So it is best that you are given an uncustodial sentence so that you can go serve and be a more responsible person in the society.
Wakili, so
Yes.
What are human rights?
Human rights, actually, these are indefeasible rights that we are entitled to, that no one can take it away from us. So that when we are in the society, this ensures us that we are protected. These rights that should not be violated, but to be enhanced and protected, like the right to life. That is an entitlement. No one can take that away from you unless he or she murders you, of which he will be charged in a court of law.
And when we talk about human rights, are children included?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. Children's rights are also part of human rights.
For me, it feels like having a Children's Service Month is because children are special in a way. So, is there any special human right or rights that children are accorded that the rest of us are not accorded?
Actually, because now the judiciary have dedicated this month for the children, and 20th November is the International Day of the Child. It is very important because when they are saying that we like in Makadara law courts, 300 cases are to be dealt this month, children cases in a criminal nature. So these rights of the child, in a nutshell, I can say their rights to dignity, the proceedings in court involving a child are basically to be done in camera. That's in chambers, not in open court, that people are seeing what the child going on, and the child is there. It will not give them that dignity to proceed with the court matter. And because I've seen it, it's even the child will not even be comfortable to proceed with the case. And they in even when you go to Kenya law reports, the child names are abbreviated, even in the Kenya in the cases. So their right to dignity, and also from they should not be discriminated from the aspect of their color, their race, their sex, their background. So when they're being handled by anyone, they should not be discriminated in any way. Yes. Children, their rights in court when they're proceeding with the cases basically entail right to privacy, and I give emphasis to that. The right to privacy in proceedings. All their matters are supposed to be conducted in chambers, and the parties involved is the family with the parent or a guardian, the magistrate, of course, in a criminal case, the prosecution, and the advocate who is representing
What's
the
the
child. In this case, we call them the subject in a criminal matter.
what's the difference between a criminal and a civil case?
Okay, for a criminal case, basically, it entails having the prosecution, and it's more of an offense. You've committed an offense where you're supposed to answer to the charges that is meted against you, and the procedure is not as rigorous as a civil case when you compare with a civil case where now cases of child custody and maintenance, where either party can take the partner or spouse in court to seek maintenance, custody to who is going to have legal custody, who is going to have actual custody of the child in this instance. So that's the difference. And it's the civil, it has, you have to follow so much procedure, but criminal is just enter appearance if you're an advocate for the accused, the subject. Sorry, the subject. Yes, that is the difference.
So, in a criminal case or a civil case, does the child have, apart from the people that are allowed by law to be in the proceedings, does the child also have a say in who exactly they want to be around in the courtroom?
Yes, the child has a right, and the court, actually, the Children's Act 2022 gives more authority to the child, and whatever the child says to the court has to keep it in consideration and note it down in the proceedings, so that if a child is not comfortable appearing when this person is around, they'll be told to clear the court, and the only people who are allowed will be able to proceed in the case. Also, matters where, okay, if the child, the complainant, is a witness, most instances when he or she's a witness, they can decide to go behind a box, or you see those very dim, a place where it's very, no one can see them from the other side. So it's or their child can appear virtually, you won't see them. So that's what the court has really, with the Children's Act 2022, is really trying to address those issues, so that the child feels safe whenever they are in a court environment which now the courts have already given that mandate to have a child-friendly environment. The children court to have the pictures of animals, numbers, the children to feel safe in the court environment. Yes.
How does the legal representation of children in court differ from that of adults? And why is that important if there is any difference?
Yes. There's a children court that is established for solely children cases. So this children court, I can say that the more so the juvenile courts. Let's call it the children court. That the jurisdiction, criminal and civil, they hear only children matters pertaining custody, maintenance, anything that's pertaining the child in children court. And then in criminal, now we are dealing with the criminal cases of child offenders who are in conflict with the law. All those cases. That is why the mandate for the Chief Justice that from now on children cases will be reported and filed at Milimani law courts exclusively.
That is for Nairobi?
Yes.
And
all children cases.
For other places that are not in
Kenya.
Nairobi? Oh, all children cases?
Yes. From now on.
Oh, and why
unless
was that?
there are special circumstances.
Uh-huh.
Because when you look, I saw a very much reason on that, because now you see in Makadara, for instance, that I practiced there, it will give the children more confidence when they are all tried at the same place and not mixed with adults. Yeah, because now they'll be they are all in the remand. They are called before the court. They are mixed up with adults, so it will be more uniform. And I really support that notion, because that separate court will give more privacy and more confidence, and the children will not feel like they are discriminated. Yes. So that's the difference with the normal courts. I can say when we look at the magistrate court, the high court, they are trying all manner of cases and all manner of offences. For magistrate courts, they try all criminal cases except murder. Then now the high court has the jurisdiction to try murder cases. So that is the difference. Best interest of a child, pursuant to Article 53 of the Constitution of Kenya, which guides courts on how to deal with all manner of cases involving children. And when we talk about the best interest of the child principle, is to also caution the courts and guide the court that whenever you are giving your direction, making judgment, making rulings, issuing orders, that the welfare of the child is most paramount and important. And also looking at now the outcome of every decision, it will affect that child. So the most important consideration is the child and the welfare and the effect it will have on the society. And that is why for a child is never to be convicted or sentenced. They are given non-custodial sentence and they cannot go to prison.
And this is regardless of the kind of mistake or the kind of crime committed.
Yes, as long as he's a child.
The welfare part inamaanisha nini, just to put it in a layman's language?
The welfare of the child is where the child lives, what is the background, what has there been psychological trauma, so that maybe these happenings have been because of what has been happening to the child. So that is why it is very important to the court will also assess the child in order to understand what made this child commit this offense, for example. And when they're assessing, it will be a very ideal when the probation officers, the children officers are making their report, the social inquiries report, bail report, and now finally the probation report before the magistrate issues a judgment, delivers a judgment. So that, and when we look at the civil nature, the best interest of the child, when we talk about parental responsibility and the needs of a child, whenever they need to be catered for, school fees, basic needs, the child has to be catered for, and the most best interest of the child is most paramount, regardless of the interest of the parents. That is why we talk about equal parental responsibility and the rights of the child whenever the right to food, right to education, right to care and protection. So that is what really comes into play when we talk about the best interest. It is most paramount and it is prioritized in the court, in the society, and the people who are players in the child's life.
What rights do children have in cases where they are placed in foster care or considered for adoption?
Actually, basically, when we talk about foster care, a child is not supposed to stay in foster care for more than 3 years, unless now you make an application to court to say that why is this child not having a place of abode, because they have a right to parental care and to have a home, right to housing, and also right to education where they can also have parental love and care. So those rights come into play, and whenever the court or the secretary, the ones who are in charge for foster care, when they make that application, they have to answer why is this child still in foster care, and what are the circumstances. And then when we look at adoption, there are very key issues that you need to consider when you are looking at adoption. You cannot just adopt anyone cannot adopt. Not everyone can adopt. If you are indicted of an offense, you cannot adopt. If you are of above 65 years, you're not supposed to adopt. So when the rights apply uniformly, because they have a right to parental care, the right to social protection. Yeah, this is very important when it comes to social protection, because when you want to adopt, there are other people. Okay, if for example, if a child was in a children's home, was there any other parent alive, or are there any other relatives? Why is that child not being catered for by these relatives? So those issues, there has to be a children officer's report, and also to surrender they have to consent to surrender their rights over the child, to take care of them before they can even proceed with they will allow them to proceed with the adoption. So those are some of the issues that, and also the rights that pertain the same, so that now you can start the adoption process in the High Court.
Maybe if you just
Yes.
clarify a few things about adoption. I heard you talking about you cannot adopt if you're 60 plus. Those two restrictions, you could just mention them and why.
Okay, when you look at if you are above that age, will you be able to take care of someone and you're also elderly and you may be sickly? So it is important, because this child needs to be catered for their basic needs. Yeah, and if you're indicted of an offense, especially sexual offenses, yeah, you're not qualified under the Children's Act 2022.
You are deemed not suitable to morally
Yes.
impact a child's life.
Yeah, because you will definitely, it may happen again, so the child is not safe in your hands. When we talk about appeals in the children's court, yes, a child may be sentenced to go to prison, which is contrary to the laws of not having a child go to prison. since now they're supposed to go to non-custodial sentences like probation, community service. They can be discharged. So those are some of the options that, or they can go to a rehabilitation institution or a pastoral institution. They're not supposed to go to prison. So that is the ground for appeal. Say that the magistrate are in fact and law to sentence them to prison, whereas the Children's Act does not mandate for that. And also a very strategic move when it comes to criminal cases, that the child was sentenced as an adult. There was no age assessment before the trial begins, before even taking plea. If the child is agreeable to the offense or not, the court has to know how old that child is. So we do not work on an assumption that yes, it looks like this age. You see, so that's another ground of appeal, of which the defense will ensure that now we are going to court to appeal, and on these grounds the judgment will be set aside and the appeal succeeds. So, and then looking at the procedure, how the court was conducting itself, was there fairness? Was the prosecution having enough evidence to place the child, the subject, in a manner that he or she committed that offense? So it's just to create that doubt that actually the prosecution did not do their job well. Now when we come to civil cases, that when it comes to custody and maintenance, maybe when most of the times as we go for appeal, is to appeal maybe on a ruling that this much of maintenance has been given, or custody has been given to someone, to the parent who is not responsible. Those are some of the appeal grounds to be able to modify, and the higher court to be able to give a favorable judgment when it comes to the taking care of the child. Yeah. Yes. Especially on that part of the social media, cyberbullying and solicitation of inappropriate material in the social media, and the access to the child to such platforms. That is a very, very key ingredient of a child to be influenced. The mindset that yes, I can do this. I want to be like so and so on social media, that what they're doing, the movies, all those things, they really play a great role in giving these children leeway to do whatever they want. And whenever we look at the societal setup, like the parents, they really play a big role in ensuring that the children of good behavior, they go to school, they're disciplined. And okay, unfortunately, single mothers have a very big problem whenever to taking care of their sons, especially the male. Not to be biased, but they end up engaging in bad company. That's what I've seen in practice. They influence each other. So if that influence will be reduced, at least these children have hope to proceed with their lives. Yes, because it's very, very important to note those things, because that is what majorly they get influenced. And these slums, Korogocho, Kamkunji, Kariobangi, the slums where they don't have access to resources, they feel like they want to go steal or commit robbery with violence to be able to make ends meet. So there's a lot of factors that the society needs to look at so that they can be able to curb those issues whenever it comes to the child. Whatever the child is facing, maybe also psychological trauma. A child may be in a home that so much is happening that they want to just do something else in their free time, or to run away, or to just find a safe space. So it's very important that the society looks at in that sense, that the children have they learn from their elders and the community at large. Yes, the children court. That's a very good. Having all matters proceed in the Milimani court, it's very, very key. It will separate the adults from the children. There's more confidence in the judiciary whenever children cases are being heard, so the children feel safe. And the limit that a child's case should not exceed 6 months. You see now, the expeditious disposal of children cases. Children are supposed to just proceed with the case and continue with their lives. And then also this the Children's Act has actually ensured that now children are not supposed to be given corporal punishment. So it is debatable, but that's what the act is really forging towards. And then also the welfare fund, the welfare funding for the child welfare fund, so that the matters of a child should not stall in court. At least there is that fund, and also pro bono legal representation is available for children matters all across. So it's very important when now you see now the judiciary and the legislation is being prioritizing children. Also the foster care placement procedure rules 2023. Also it's very, because now you find that foster care has not been given much attention as before. So there's so many good changes in the realm of children cases, and I believe now we have confidence that this children matters will be expeditious, and also promoting ADR when it comes to solving child cases, that not necessarily these cases have to go to court all the time. We can sort this out, we record a consent, we have a diversion agreement where now children are not supposed to be having records of criminal offenses. And these cases of maintenance, we just record a consent, say that I will be taking care of my child because these are your children. Why do you subject them to court? All like 3 years down the line, they're still in waiting. The child is not even going to school because of wrangles between the parents. So expeditious disposal of cases is the main agenda right now. Promotion and prioritizing children cases.
You talked about ADR.
Yes.
What is that?
Or alternative dispute resolution. That before we go to court, let us sort this out of court. The civil society organizations are very key in raising awareness of the same, because when these are the people who go to the grassroots, they go to the ground and inform legal awareness. For example, justice defenders, they defend the defenseless, criminal cases all through. So what they do, the legal officers, they go for legal awareness. They go to courts, give advice, free legal advice, and they'll be able to even go represent themselves in court. So that is another way, a way of raising that awareness, so that you know your rights as accused or plaintiff or a defendant or a complainant. What is your role in the court? And what I'm also this like International Justice Mission as well, FIDA Kenya, they offer free services to women, so that whenever they have also toll free line where you if you feel domestic violence, anything. They give free legal advice. The Federation of Women Lawyers in Kenya. So there is so much, there are so many organizations, and also the courts have sensitization, like this Children Month. Visit the courts, go know what is happening. Let have your cases heard. That is because there's so much to be done for everyone, and you should not say that you stay ignorant of your rights, because there's so much avenue where you can be heard. Yes.
Now that we're coming to the end, maybe you could repeat part
And
of your
also
yeah.
there was legal awareness last week
Mm-hmm.
for lawyers. Last month, from 23rd to 27th, lawyers were given free legal advice. So next time, October, please ensure that you visit the courts in your area, wherever you are, because there's and also free advice in online as well. The judiciary, the ODPP, they have the documents, or especially whenever they have those elaborations on how the proceedings, how you can settle the cases, who is eligible for this and this, can you plea bargain. So also those social media platforms, the judiciary, the ODPP, the International Justice Mission, FIDA Kenya, and also Justice Defenders, they have that where you can have the frequently asked questions. So it is very good to go to the social media as well, so you can be informed and not be ignorant of your rights.
I just meant to say, now that we have come to the end, we started by introducing you. You could do that again, just in case somebody amejoin in na amesema mi nataka wakili aniongeleshe one on one, aniambie anipe quote unquote tailor made solutions to my problem, whether the problem to do with a child's rights or another aspect of the law. So you can take it away, and also tell us kama uko social media, the handles.
Okay, thank you. My name is Ruth Jebet Rotich, advocate of the High Court of Kenya. I am the managing partner and founder of Ruth Rotich and Company Advocates, member of the Law Society of Kenya. And if you wish to visit my office, I am located at Jubilee Insurance Exchange in Kaunda Street, 4th floor, room 415B. My handles, my law firm handle for Instagram is Ruth Rotich Advocates. My personal is Wakili Ruth Rotich. And my LinkedIn is Ruth Rotich Esquire. For the law firm is Ruth Rotich and Company Advocates. Facebook, Ruth Kandagor. For the law firm is Ruth Rotich and Company Advocates. And Twitter, it's Rotich Advocates. And my personal is at Ruth Rotich 12.
This is Haki FM, Oasis of Justice.